The Leaning Tower of Pisa is super famous. People come from all over the world to see this weird building. But why is it so famous? It's because it leans. It wasn't supposed to lean. It was supposed to be straight. But the ground underneath it had different plans. They started building the tower in August 1173. The people of Pisa wanted a really cool bell tower for their church. They wanted it to show everyone how powerful and important their city was. They wanted it to be big and beautiful, like a shiny beacon. They didn't know that their strong tower would become famous for being wobbly. The Leaning Tower of Pisa shows us that even the best plans can go wrong. But it's this mistake that makes it so special. It shows us how creative and strong people can be. It reminds us that sometimes surprises are the best part. The tower's story is a trip through time. It shows how hard it was to build something that seems to fight against gravity. The first few years of building went okay. The tower started to go up one level at a time, but in 1178 something happened. The tower started to lean. Oops, the builders were confused. They thought they picked a good spot, but the ground was soft, like clay, sand and shells. It couldn't hold the tower up. The tower started to tip over like a toy boat in a bathtub. Everyone started talking about the leaning tower. Some people were worried it would fall down. Others thought it was a fun puzzle to solve. The tower became the talk of the town. Even though it was leaning, the builders wanted to fix it. They stopped building for a while to figure out what to do. They didn't know this would be the first of many breaks in building this tricky tower. The Leaning Tower of Pisa wasn't built quickly. It took almost 200 years with lots of stops and starts. Wars happened and Pisa ran out of money and workers. Bills piled up and building slowed down, and the leaning, it was a big problem. The engineers tried everything to fix it. They tried making one side taller. This made the tower a little curvy, which made it look even more special. But it still leaned. It was like a game. Every time they thought they fixed it, it would lean a little more. All the stops and starts and the leaning made building the tower a long story. It shows how the people of Pisa never gave up, even when things were super hard. Finally, in the 1400s, the Leaning Tower of Pisa was finished. It took almost 200 years, but it was done. They added the bells, and the tower, even though it leaned, looked amazing. But the leaning got worse over time. The people of Pisa were proud of it, but also worried. It was famous, but it might fall down. By the 1900s, it was leaning so much that everyone thought it would fall over. Experts said it would crumble if they didn't do something. It was a race against time to save the tower. They had to fix it without changing its special look. It was a hard job that needed lots of care. Everyone in the world watched as engineers tried to save this famous tower. In the late 1900s, some smart engineers made a plan to save the tower. They very carefully took out a little bit of dirt from under the leaning side. Like a dentist fixing your teeth, they worked slowly and carefully. They watched the tower closely, making tiny changes. It took a long time, but it worked. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is safe now, and it should stay up for a long time. It still leans a little, but not as much. It shows how smart those engineers were. They saved the tower for everyone to see. The tower shows how creative and strong people are, and how we can fix even the biggest problems. The Leaning Tower of Pisa shows that sometimes the things that make us different are the things that make us cool. It's a story about never giving up, finding the good in things that aren't perfect, and how smart people can be.